Welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show, and it is a wonderful Tuesday. Big show today coming at you. We've got our guy Bill Bender going to be joining us from the Sporting News. He's going to be able to give us some nuggets on what's going on nationally, what's going on at Penn State, firings all across the board. Are there any other firings that are going to be happening this year, Schlegs? I mean, I think that that's something we can look at and try to figure out what the landscape is going to look like. And with those firings, there's going to be a cascading of job openings as people jump from one job to the next, because when a head coach leaves, that next job comes open. And so where we kind of see all of this spiraling. But what's amazing is we're sitting here now at week 6, Schlegs.
Yep.
And the Big Ten is in a pretty good position, I think, to be able to get 5 or 4 teams in. We'll have to see ultimately how that breaks out. But if you look at the Big Ten Conference, kind of who's positioned, obviously you have Ohio State and Indiana who are sitting up there really in the catbird seat of the Big Ten. But behind that, you have Oregon, who's still ranked 8th, USC, who's ranked 20th, Nebraska, who's ranked 25th, who has a pretty easy schedule to task. You've got a 5-1 Washington. I believe Northwestern, which is crazy, is 4-2. I don't know if they're in it. Michigan is 4-2. And that USC situation, they're going to be having a big one here with Notre Dame this weekend. So opportunity, Schlegs, for people to play themselves in and out of things pretty well. And then Ohio State's taking on, it's wild to look at this, Wisconsin, who's sitting there 2-4 down at the bottom, ultimately with Purdue and with Rutgers at 0-3, and Penn State 0-3, Michigan State 0-3 in the conference. Crazy to see that. Never thought that would have been the case with Penn State, Wisconsin, and even Rutgers or Michigan State being winless in conference through the first 3 games. But that's where we are. That's why jobs have been had. And now there's an opportunity moving forward to kind of figure out what this looks like, where the Big Ten's going. And I know the narrative is always the SEC is the best, the strength of the SEC, and that's something that's always something that people are clamoring for. But I look at this, man, the Big Ten with Indiana's emergence. Now, it hurts because Penn State has absolutely just fallen apart. Yep. But I look at this with the Big Ten's emergence, with Indiana's emergence. I think Indiana is probably the second best team in the country. And maybe Miami is better than them. But I think it's kind of Ohio State and Miami, maybe Indiana below, maybe not. They're kind of right there, and it's wild because they don't have all the stars and the star power and everything else. I think it's those 3 teams. You've got like a slew of SEC teams that are like after that gap. And in that gap, I would put, Oregon's probably there right now, maybe, a little bit, towards the top with some of those SEC teams. I think Washington's in there, Illinois, and maybe even Michigan. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for people to kind of win their way in. And as this next 3-week stretch shapes up and we head into November kind of for the final run, that's what Trust would always say, November, Schlegs. It's for contenders.
Yes.
But seeing how people finish out October is going to be critical to where they're at and ultimately their ability to finish out the conference.
Yeah, if you look at like Miami, you brought them up, and what did they do? I mean, they beat Notre Dame, they beat Bethune-Cookman, right? I think the BC, right? What not we normally think of BC, but you beat them. You beat South Florida, then you beat Florida, then you beat a ranked Florida State who's now lost 3 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And also Alabama, who do they lose to? They lost to now a technically unranked team, and that's where these rankings are so. Like they stick with you on that schedule as they are. And then obviously earlier in the season, it could be, well, hey, you beat the number 1 team, but then the number 1 team's kind of fallen off, but then they're getting back into it. They also lost on the road to Florida. You lost to Ohio State. Then you go back and you beat a number 6 Oklahoma team decisively in Red River. So where they are, and that's why I just like them to all play out and just look at the totality. When you look at Washington, their only loss, right? Granted, it was at home, but it was to the number 1 team in the country who's been I would say Ohio State has been very consistent in the manner in which they win their football games. So you look at that, you look at how they play defense as to what's the longevity of them being able to go make a run and where they sit, halfway through the season. But your only loss is to the number one team in the country, and you're still unranked. And now, if that was anybody else in the
Yeah.
SEC, you'd probably be a top 10 team. Now, have they played uh, a lot of people necessarily ranked teams? The answer is no.
Well, you talking about Illinois,
No, I'm
Washington,
talking about Washington,
Washington. Gotcha.
right? But again, and that's why you love college football. And I think the one thing, because they beat Washington State 35-0, and then Ole Miss barely beats them by 3, and that's why you can't look at what a team does week to week, because then we also saw Illinois bounce back and beat a USC team that then they bounced back and beat a Michigan team. So it's like, oh, pump the brakes. There has become a lot of parity in college football. The ones that we say that could be in that 4, Illinois could still be in that 4, Bob, even with the 2 losses that they had. Why? Is because they're kind of resilient, right? Like, you look at what they are. Can they stay healthy? Can they put some things together? You look at what they did versus it. Like, their only 2 losses on the season are to an Indiana, though a blowout, and to Ohio State, really nothing going on in that game. So as people go and they look at all these different things, you just have to let these things play out, as opposed to being so divisive as to who's what. I do not like the SEC narrative and that they just chew each other up every single week. That is false.
Well, I mean, Auburn was up by 17. Should have been up by 17 against Georgia. I mean, there was movement there, and so that's why when you look at this, you're sitting there staring at the top of the SEC. I mean, 4 is at Texas A&M, and you could argue Notre Dame. They lost to Texas A&M at home, which stinks.
They lost to Miami
on the road, which is a little bit tougher, obviously, road loss. But I still think Notre Dame, talking to Reese Davis yesterday on XM, because I think Notre Dame's one of the elite teams. Like, once they've gotten this defense figured out, like, you can watch them go and play 2 of the best teams in the country, and they had a young quarterback, and they're playing them right to a dead heat. And you're talking about a play here or there. And so the one thing that we don't ever take into account,
tell me, Bob,
is the improvement of these teams. Like, are they getting better? Did they get better from week 1 to week 6? And then from week 6 on, you feel like you have a pretty good idea. You feel like you know your team. Are you then able to continue to improve? Are you able to stay healthy, get guys in the right positions, feel like you're in a good spot for guys to be able to move forward and your team to get better? Players to get better individually, which can happen, and then also the collective, the team gets better. How you play, do you become more disciplined? Do you become more refined? Have you been working on the right things? Could you develop an identity, Schleichs, like after 6 games, figuring out, hey, at the start of the season, coaches think they know what they have.
Yep.
Probably by now, you have a pretty good idea of what you have. And so how have you been able to build that identity around it?
I tell you what, you brought up a great point. And it kind of serves 2 different arguments, not even an argument, but just 2 different thoughts, right? You go in, and we saw Ohio State's defense in year 1 with Jim Knowles to what it looked like in year 3 with him. And it made a lot of progression. And you end up going on and winning a national championship. And it took some time because of his system and the way that he calls it, et cetera. And then you look even at Notre Dame, where you have a brand new defensive coordinator who, mind you, had to retain all of his entire staff. So not only are you building staff continuity with people that you never worked with, but you're coming in to the people that you necessarily didn't recruit, implementing a system, right, that also has to kind of somewhat marry what Marcus likes to run. And there was some commonality there because Chris was at Ohio State previously with Fickle, so they know a lot of the same things. But you think you have certain things, and then you have to adjust to what it is that you want to do that puts you in a position of being successful, along with a brand new starting young quarterback and playing 2 top now 5 teams, one at home and one on the road. Like, that's kind of bumpy, right? So as you go throughout the season, nobody's winning a national championship right now. You can sure as hell lose one, as we've seen in some other cases when guys stop playing. That's why I'm with you, Bob. How are we maturing as a defense? How is the offense maturing? What are the things that we know is going to be able to, build and lay that foundation for making that run, building the depth on a roster, et cetera? How does your defense play for 4 quarters, the special teams, which is why we brought that up yesterday on the show, was because I'm not necessarily worried about anything offensive defensively. It's like the one kind of chink in the armor right now of Ohio State is the special teams. And when it is good on good, those things matter. That's the lens that people need to look and watch college football. And then as you look at coaches, what we'll get with Richard Magnum Bender is, are the guys still playing for that head football coach? Are they still going out there and doing their very best? We've seen Florida kind of do that, and Billy Napier kind of hangs around with it. What does that look like? What are you seeing from the players?
How hard are the guys playing? And then the last piece of this, like you kind of, figure hopefully out about yourself and you develop that identity, but hopefully nobody else has figured out stuff about you, because that's going to also happen as well. They've got a book of film on you now.
Hope is not a strategy, Cotton.
Hope is not a strategy. And so what you're doing, other people are going to figure out. So how are you going to change? How are you going to, what's that next iteration of your team? How are you going to continue to evolve? Because you've got 6 more regular season games, then maybe the conference championship. And then we're talking about a 3 or 4 game run that you're going to have to go on. So it's almost like the NFL. Now, I don't know if I'd break it down to quarters, but I'd break it down into thirds, like first half of the season, second half of the season, and then that postseason run. And that's kind of how you're looking at it. That's how you would dissolve it and ingest it if you're trying to really find out a lot about your squad and make sure you're always performing at a high level. All right, we got Bill Bender for you on deck. He's sitting back there ready to rock.
Guy, Richard.
He's greased up and ready to go. We're going to get to him momentarily. First, I want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL season is here. They got an offer you don't want to miss. New customers bet just $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet $5, and if it wins, you unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style. FanDuel, they've got you covered. The NFL season, it's here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to download the FanDuel app and get started. Must be 21 and older and present in Ohio. First online real money wager only, or 21 and older and present in Pennsylvania. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets. It expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Bill Bender of the Sporting News, just like every Tuesday joins us next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Pleased to welcome you back into the Bobby Carpenter Show, and pleased to welcome on our guy, Mr. Bill Bender of the Sporting News, doing a great job. Bill, we are halfway into the season, halfway point. More or less coaches fired than you would have anticipated.
Oh, more. Obviously, getting into Sunday where you had 3 coaches fired, starting, obviously the James Franklin news, the Power 4 movement that is going on, and that I think it's going to get really crazy. I don't know what kind of chain reaction James Franklin is going to create, but the top 4 names being mentioned are all Power 4 coaches. So when do we go from, whether it's Kurt Signetti, Matt Rule, Manny Diaz, or Eli Drinkwitz, all of those guys are Power 4 coaches. So I can't say I was shocked Sunday. I do think, and we can get into it, I'd love to hear you guys' opinions. I do think Penn State made a bit of an emotional decision, but it was a decision they had clearly thought about if they were willing to pay that kind of buyout.
I'm going to go with this question for you, Richard Magnum Bender. Hey, have you ever used a shake weight? Like when you work out, you ever use one of those?
A what?
A shake weight? Have you ever seen those?
I have.
I'll send you a video. Okay. Something I think you might like. Anyways, I digress. So I want your perspective on how NIL recruiting and this whole landscape of getting philanthropic dollars, and they're not philanthropic, just outside money. How do you feel that has changed with these coaches being fired? Normally we see this like mid-season to late season, right? So like you can get ahead, right, of the coaching carousel and try to get your guy locked in. How much do you think that has to play, if any, in these decisions to fire a coach?
I mean, I'm still thinking about shake weights right now, so I don't know if I can answer the question. So to your point, they were willing to pay this money. And is Penn State going to be a big time player in NIL? Are they going to pay these players at that level? Are they going to, step up and have those resources that Ohio State does? I think one of the questions, and I wrote about it Sunday, was you saw in Patrick Kraft's statement, he said national powerhouse. How many programs truly are national powerhouses? I said,
great question. What do you think? How many?
Well, one in the Big Ten. Ohio State's the only one that can say we can win to be a national powerhouse, you have to be able to say out loud and mean it, I can win a national title every year. So how many can actually do that? I think in the Big Ten, there's one. I think in the SEC, the problem is there's probably, Georgia and Alabama, I still can think they can say it, but do they mean it like they used to? It's a little bit different. So if I was labeling Penn State, I would label them college football playoff contender every year. And I think that's where they are. And maybe they think there's something more. So here's the other part. I probably wrote a similar column when Georgia got rid of Mark Richt. And now that Richt is gone, when he was gone, I was like, this guy won 10 games. Kirby did take it to the next level.
Yep.
But it does. How often does that really happen?
Well, I was looking through today, Bill, because they look at all these, the quote blue blood programs across, college football, and whether, you look in the Big Ten, the traditional Big Ten, the Ohio State, the Michigan, the Penn State, you look to kind of the Midwest, the Plains, Texas, Oklahoma, probably you look in the South. I think you got Georgia, you've got Bama, maybe at LSU, Florida, West Coast, Oregon, I think has kind of hit that point. USC is kind of there. And I think maybe Clemson was in it for a while, and whether they're still in it or not. But you look at Florida, since Urban Meyer left, they have 4 10-win seasons over 15 years. And that's why I was like looking at this, like, will James Franklin have a job next year? I'm like, if I'm Florida, I'm hiring James Franklin because I just want to be at the doorstep again. Now, can he get you into the house? Maybe not. But I think Florida, in their mind, they think they're on the doorstep. I'm like, you go look at the last 15 years and you're like driving around the neighborhood. You kind of might maybe been close, but James Franklin did a great job at Penn State stabilizing that situation. Bill O'Brien kind of elevated it. James Franklin stabilized it and made them a national title contender, put tons of guys in the league. And they're in that conversation every offseason coming in. They could never kick the door in, but they're there. And so I think a lot of these programs, like, they think they want to make that move to get there. And ultimately, like, you maybe make a move, but elevating like what Georgia did with Kirby is really stinking hard.
Yeah. And there's plenty of programs that this backfired on. I think Nebraska is the best example.
Yeah.
Frank Solich, they're still searching for that. And Matt Rule, ironically, the guy that may get them on that track of a college football playoff berth, is probably going to be the leading candidate and honestly the best fit for Nebraska or Penn State. So, Michigan, when they got rid of Lloyd Carr, look what happened. And I'm not even talking about, it took Harbaugh 5 years. So you're looking at 12 to 13 years of mediocrity that was nowhere near contention. I know they had a couple seasons in there that were good, but that can happen to your program. Tennessee, since Philip Fulmer, that's another one. So I think it's a risky move. If they hire the right guy, it's fine. But I do think on some level, Bobby, I was thinking about this when I left Oregon, Penn State. Is there any scenario when I was waiting in traffic to get home from that game, did I think that James Franklin would get fired in 2 weeks? That was not even near my radar at the time.
Hey, I'm going to ask you this one. So Hugh Freeze, Fick, I'm gonna lean more toward Fick on this one. How much is it going to be to where whether or not we let go of a coaching staff and make a complete switch is going to be predicated upon the lack of resources we actually give said coach? You know what I'm saying? Because like everything is not created equal. Other teams have a little bit more money when you're trying to do certain things in another place, and you're working at 10 to 15% capacity as to what somebody else in your same conference is working at. Granted, I'm like, hey, that's on you to figure it out, athletic director. That can't fall solely on the coach. Do you think people are going to get more because they, like you said, I think the biggest thing is who are the true bloods? Who are the ones that can be a college football playoff contender? Who are the ones that are contending to, maybe make a college football playoff? And then those that are just trying to get to a bowl game. And where is that?
Right.
Like, how difficult is that now to navigate, predicated upon the resources you're giving somebody to go do their job and produce quality wins at a university?
Well, I mean, you're seeing the press conferences now, like Steve Sarkisian reflecting on what happened with James Franklin. Matt Rule was obviously asked about it. Greg Schiano talking about the disparity of what they have versus what the haves in the Big Ten have. And if the problem here is you're trying to create something that's equivalent to the NFL in some ways, but college football doesn't work that way.
Nope.
Like, it works more like Major League Baseball, where you have teams that have way more than everybody else. So that is one part of the problem. So with coaching, and what I'm curious now, the James Franklin thing's going to bring to light, okay, if I'm a college football coach and I'm like, man, I keep bringing this up. With 5 minutes left in the college football playoff semifinals last year, Penn State was in a tie game with Notre Dame. And halfway through the following season, their coach got fired. That's a scary proposition if you're a coach anywhere that isn't maybe, untouchable, because I'm telling you, if I knew that, I mean, is it riskier to be a college coach now than it is an NFL coach? Maybe not for the Titans or the Dolphins this year, but in certain places, I think that could be true.
I think it definitely can be true. And that you mentioned, Bill, the asymmetry in those resources and what that ultimately looks like. We're going to see this cascading effect as you talk about the 4 leading candidates to replace Penn State or all at other jobs, most notably of them Power 4 jobs, and how just that cycle moves around. We didn't see any real firings last year across the board, and I think that a lot of that was attributed to the new revenue sharing model. People are trying to figure that out. But everybody makes this big investment. How much of this firing, like you said, Bill, I feel like it was a little bit emotional because I don't know what you're getting ahead of really. November 1st, November 8th, it's all the same. But they had Ohio State and Indiana coming up and not giving them a chance to maybe work through that, just given the fact that this year for Penn State, all the talk, Bill, was national title or bust. And we heard that about Ohio State last year. It's a lot of pressure to wear as a coach and as a player, but the investment that's made in these rosters when everybody comes back and, the financial commitment to that, is that going to add this layer of pressure in college football that feels a little more NFL-esque than maybe ever before?
Absolutely. And I think, when you have that many moving parts and you think about the pressure around that Ohio State team last year, they were wearing that all year. Every telecast, it was spent this much money on NIL, every single one of them, and even into the playoffs. So they delivered on that. And, Michigan and Washington the previous year had a bunch of guys stay in school and they go play for a national championship. Penn State has all these guys stay in school. And I'm going to be honest, Saturday, as that game was unfolding, when you're writing on a Saturday and you're doing all the things that you're doing, you're kind of checking the score and you're like, wait, Northwestern is winning. What? They're still winning? Wait a minute. They're going to win this game. And at that moment, I kind of knew, all right, we better get Franklin replacements ready. We better have a plan in place tomorrow, because this, and then when Nicole Auerbach on the NBC telecast was kind of hinting at that too, like, hey, this is going to be very real tomorrow.
100%. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I want to talk about kind of the realignment at the top of the college football spectrum with what Indiana has done. Who are the best teams out there? How many teams can realistically win a national championship? get to that with Bill here coming up. Attention parents and athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouth guards, they're scientifically tested to help absorb those high impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. They feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber. You can use the 3D print that bad boy to custom fit right to your grill for more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication. So you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. More Bill Bender and sporting news coming up.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. Please like, subscribe, leave your questions, comments. We appreciate all of the interaction in the chat. And I guess as we welcome our guy, Bill Bender, back in, who is hanging with us. You know, Bill, as the things got realigned, there was almost a lot more upsets. I mean, Auburn got screwed. Missouri had a chance to win. There was some opportunities across the SEC to potentially get some things done. But watching what Indiana did and how they were able to go out to Oregon, get a huge win with Curt Cignetti. And this is Indiana we're talking about, 5-0, 6-0, back-to-back years, looking really stinking good. How many teams in your mind do you think can win a national championship? 5? Nope.
Oh, okay.
Mike is muted. I'm muting myself.
That shake weight hit the mute button.
That's what happened. 5. I'm going to say 5 with Ohio State at the top still as the elite team. Now, and I'll do it this way. I'll say here are the 4 teams I would like to see play Ohio State in order. 1 is still Miami. I think, you know, the trenches that they have, the schedule that they have is set up. You've got a veteran quarterback. They're going to have a couple guys on our midseason All-American team like Ohio State does. I think they're 1. Indiana, probably in the Big Ten championship game. That's what you're looking at. Up front, strong, disruptive defense. Aiden Fisher's awesome. And Fernando Mendoza kind of played through it. You know, made a big mistake against Oregon, played through it. The Ducks will still be in that picture as well. And then out of the SEC, I just don't see anybody but Alabama right now. They're going to be favored in the rest of their games. Their quarterback plays well. So, you know, what are we talking about? Sayin, Simpson, Beck, Mendoza, all really good, you know, steady quarterbacks, and Dante Moore, despite a rough game.
You mean to tell me those other 8 ranked SECs and you only got 1? I mean, John Mateer's thumb, it's going to heal up. He's going to go get that Chipotle queso on there, and he's going to be fine. Like he just had 1 game, came back a little too early. You got Texas A&M? You're giving me 1 out of there? No, I like it. Here. I want to ask you this question, Bill. You got Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon. Who is that 4th Big Ten team? Where are you leaning to? You got USC playing Notre Dame this week. That's a huge one. That could be like, hey, Notre Dame, you out. USC, oh, you're getting sexy. Illinois still there. Washington has 1 loss. Who is the 4th Big Ten team?
Well, I mean, it's USC's opportunity this weekend. The team that looks super fast, running around the Coliseum, all over Michigan, by the way. Big plays. Jaden Mayava and Julian Sayin are the 2 most efficient quarterbacks in the Big Ten right now. King Miller looked like Reggie Bush on Saturday night, running all over the place. And I think this USC team has a tremendous opportunity at Notre Dame, because if they win that game, you'll have victories against Michigan, Notre Dame, a 1-point loss at Illinois that could probably be forgiven. And even if they lose to Oregon, they'll have a really good chance of being 10-2 when this is over. So I think this is a huge opportunity for USC. If they lose, I think you've got a bunch of like 9-3 type teams in the Big Ten. And the one that I'm looking at, if they don't mess it up, is Nebraska. So imagine, guys, if we get into November and those Penn State rumors are heating up and Matt Rule's in the middle of a playoff chase with Nebraska, I think that's one intriguing thing to watch.
I mean, Bill, there was a great slate of games all through the day, couple in each window. Night window was robust. How can we sit there with a straight face and look at the call that Auburn didn't score a touchdown against Georgia, and then Kirby's like fake timeout,
that was
and everything else? I mean, I don't want to be the tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, but I mean, we know the refs are talking to people up in the box. Like, I'm not sure how we're getting this stuff wrong.
Well, my favorite meme of the week so far has been it was a picture of the Auburn mascot doing this with the timeout sign, and it said, "If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands." I thought that was fantastic work. That controversial call. Georgia is not elite, like national, like dominating national championship elite team that they were in 21-22. That said, they're still fun to watch because they do have a decent defense. It's allowed 16 points per game the last 3 weeks. I kind of like Gunnar Stockton. He made some big throws at the right times. They did get a little help, obviously, in this game. And now they're stepping into this Ole Miss game where they're like a touchdown favorite. And that kind of sticks out that, man, that they've played a lot of, kind of these up and down games. And we're saying they're a touchdown better than Trinidad Chambliss and an undefeated Ole Miss team. So like I said, the entertainment value is very high, but I just don't know if they have that gear. They feel like a slightly better team, maybe even slightly worse team if they run like the ball like they did last week than they were last year, which was still good enough to win the SEC championship.
Oh, I can keep going because 34-30. I like this. Hey, I'm going to ask you this question. We got a slate of games, and I don't even know if slate's the appropriate word. We have a plethora of bangers out there in the group chat right now. You guys are banging. You guys are hysterical. There's people that owe people money, and they're talking about showing up and showing out. It's great. And I want to get back to this. Give me 2 games, Richard Magnum Bender, outside of the affinity of Ohio State versus Wisconsin matchup that you're just dying to watch. Yep. What are the 2 that you're most excited for this weekend?
I mentioned USC Notre Dame. I think, having that.
You already said it. So take it out.
So take that one out.
Yes.
I would say Tennessee, Alabama is going to be fun. Okay. Just because I want to see how that Joey Aguilar pass offense attacks Alabama. And they can get up and down. And then I'm going to go off the board. Anybody that loves college football and loves good rivalries, BYU, Utah. That's
what I was waiting for you to say that.
Are you hoping I would say that, right?
Well, it's going to be a good one. Utah got the break speed off them by Texas Tech, and now you got BYU. You're at BYU. They're 6-0. Really, like that's a one team league in the Big 12. This matters, and it's a rivalry game.
Yeah, and I think BYU, obviously, I watched their game last Saturday, stayed up and watched it. What a comeback, against Arizona. Bear Bachmeier, he wears number 47, not a quarterback number, but he runs like a fullback. And then Devin Dampierre. And that game is played with such high emotion. I know you guys have talked to Urban Meyer about it. You have him tell you. I mean, it is a highly emotional game with some religious undertones. It's really fun to watch. And the winner there is going to have a really good chance to win the Big 12. Maybe if it's Utah, they'll have a chance to maybe for a rematch with Texas Tech. If it's BYU, I mean, they're undefeated. They were 9-0 last year, so keep an eye on that game. It's going to be awesome.
So, Bill, Cincinnati, after losing a tight win in Nebraska, has routed off 5 straight. I believe just coming off their bye week. They've got Oklahoma State coming up here next. You would think that that'll be another win. They'll be at 6-1 with 5 games left. They've got Utah and BYU on the schedule. Is Cincinnati a real Big 12 title contender?
I think so. I mean, Sorsby's awesome. They're able to throw the ball down the field a little bit with him. They can get in the shootout type game and handle it. I mean, that game against Iowa State was really huge for them. And they've turned a corner, and their defense is good, just good enough to maybe make it interesting. So I think they take a cue from their quarterback, he reminds me, and I think I've said this on this show, I apologize if I have, he's got a little Baker Mayfield in his game. You know, like the confidence, throwing it down the field, can run, might make a mistake, but he's able to shake it off, and maybe with a shake weight. But see, I can do it too.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
I'm right in there. But they should win at Oklahoma State, and I think they're going to be a factor as we get into the November race. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It'll be a ton of fun, Bill. It's always a ton of fun catching up with you. College football, they've given us some gems, and I mean, if this is how the future of what college football looks like, sir, you're going to be a very busy guy every weekend come midseason, because I think we've probably just scratched the surface of some of this coaching stuff.
Well, coming on with you guys every Tuesday, it does make my day. You guys make me laugh, and I can't wait for next week. I'll talk to you then.
Appreciate you, Bill. Have a great one. Bill Bennett, the Sporting News. Go check out his stuff. He does a great job writing there, putting together everything you need to know. What else you need is the gear from Backer. The seasons are changing. The weather is changing. It's the cold gear, the winter gear, the rain gear. It's all there for you. bckr.com. They've got the elite quality, the stuff that looks good and feels good, like the high-end skiing, hunting, fishing, golf apparel that you want. bckr.com. Go check it out. It's your favorite branded teams, most of the Buckeye stuff. Christmas shopping is here. I don't like to jump and usurp holidays, but I already got my Christmas shopping done. And I've got some here. Yeah, that's right, Schlegs. I get it done before Halloween is always my goal. So use promo code all caps BOBBY for free expedited shipping. Again, that's Backer, bckr.com. Go check it out. Headlines coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
If you're looking to scale your marketing, look no further than Lake Spur Marketing. They can be your trusted marketing agency. They have a broad range of experience regardless of the industry. They are there to help. Lake Spur Marketing prides themselves on building partnerships. They're confident they will deliver the results. More importantly, it's about the relationships with their clients. They will build a strong one with you. Lake Spur Marketing, the proof is in their partners. Visit them at lakespurmarketing.com today. All right, Schlegs. Yeah, we got our headlines coming up. I know that you probably wait till the very last time, end of year, like Clark Griswold, to do your Christmas.
No, I do not. I go with the deals, man. Normally by Thanksgiving, I'm done. I go check
out.
I just got no clue.
On Prime days, dude, the deals come through. I'm looking. I get these sales, find some stuff, and I really only just buy it for my wife. Although I did get some sweet stuff for my brothers, my brothers and mom. Some coffee mugs that they're really gonna like. I'll send you a picture. I'm sure they're tremendous. Absolutely the best. No one has done it.
I think I saw those. If they were on IG, I was like, Steph, I'm gonna get you one of these.
Yep. Well, they're the best. And so I saw those. I'm like, this is perfect. Some trolling for the folks. But some great news for some Buckeyes. I mean, maybe good news, maybe bad news. Mel Kiper put out his big board stuff, Schlegs. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at that and where some of his guys are graded. Some good news for some Buckeyes, if we want to throw that up there. Well, it's funny, as Dante Moore up there, I'd put our Mendoza ahead of him, but at number 4, Arvell Reese, 38 tackles, 4 TFLs, 4.5 sacks, 3 run stops, 2 pass breakups. He's long, he's athletic, he can do it all. I'm hoping that he'll come back for his senior year. We'll see what happens. I didn't think he would be rated this high this early. Especially because he jumped number 7, Schlegs. Caleb Downs, over first 5 games, 22 tackles, 2 TFLs, and a pick. Younger brother of Josh Downs. Their dad, Gary Downs, NFL running back. He's smart on the field, extension of a defensive coordinator. He diagnoses plays tremendously. He's a sure tackler. He's great in coverage. Can do it all. And so those are 2 Buckeyes that are on the big board right now that they're both draft eligible. Neither one has to leave, but both has the ability to.
Yeah, Cardinal Tate's 12, and he is a
I didn't
junior,
see
right? So
that.
you got 3 guys that are
Yeah.
juniors that can leave early should they want to. And that's the thing, like in this, what do you want to be able to do? You got to go look at what your valuable options are. Do you think, here's a real question, like what would one more year serve? Let's take the names out of it, Bob. No, let's put you and AJ in that mix. You have an opportunity your junior year. What would be the reasoning that you would stay, that you would want to get a senior year at Ohio State?
Basically the college chicks, Schlegs. I keep getting older and they stay the same age.
That's good.
So
But I
not
mean,
the
what do you think? Like, hey, you know what? I could go from I'm projected 10 to 20, right? It's like, all right, well, if I stay, could I be at
projected
top 10?
or projected?
Protraction? Retraction? I don't know. Just answer the question, Richard.
Pretty sure you said projected.
That's okay.
These guys. Okay, so here's the thing.
This chat has been super frothy, and we were talking shake weights, and somebody brought up, what was that? The Big Jim shaker from South Park, because that's what happened when I started thinking about shake weights, and I talking to Richard about it, and then I was like, the shake weight touched the mute button.
Yeah. But
somebody in there,
I guess I thought when Caleb Downs came here, Slags, I thought he was on a 2-year plan at Ohio State. He'd started for 3 years. I think everybody knows he's NFL ready. The only knock on him is he's not very tall, but he still has always made plays, and he's really smart and a great tackler. Carnell Tate, I thought if he had a big year this year, it would make sense for him to go. They've got other great players behind him. You see what he's able to do. And Ohio State has like a first-round wide receiver every year, so they need him to come out to be that guy this year. And JJ's not eligible to come out. And so, like, you come back next year, yeah, you can be good, but they have other guys that can be good opposite of JJ. And if you're going to be taken in the first round, especially in the top half potentially, I think you've got to go. Arvell's an interesting one because he's had a unique journey at Ohio State. Ironically, he is the highest-ranked guy on here, and he's been really stinking good. But I still think he has the most growth to have happen. And some of that growth comes in physical growth, like physical maturity. Some of it comes in just game maturity, like playing the game more, understanding more the nuances. And then I think some of that growth can come also in the form of leadership for him. If you look at next year with potentially Sonny Styles and Caleb being gone, you're going to be the guy that the defense is featured around, the linchpin, and the guy that makes the calls. You'll be in there with Peyton. You'll be able to run this thing. And like there's an element of that where now everybody's looking to you to make the play, which not that they aren't now, but at the beginning of the season, that wasn't the case.
Yes, totally agree, Bob. And I think that's part of the development. What's one more year, right? Where is the true fit? Like, Arvell's kind of that anomaly. And who are you at the beginning of the draft that need is prevalent, that you need like, is he an outside? Do you want to make him a bona fide outside backer? Do you like him to be able to be versatile? It's like, what is that makeup? And a lot of times in the NFL, that you might not necessarily need that piece, right? And then you try to put a round peg in a square hole. It's like, Bob, I'll ask you this question, Bob. Like, when you were coming out, what was your favorite position to play? Did you feel that you were more of an outside backer or an inside backer when you went to the league?
I thought I was more of like an outside edge guy in a 3-4. And then I don't know if I was truly long enough to be able to do that. I probably could have. And then they moved me inside in our 3-4. And then I was probably more of an outside 4-3 guy, to tell you the truth. That's where I kind of finished up. And the thing is, things kind of evolve, and the more position skills you can have. But I became really like my niche. I was like, okay, I'm going to be really good on coverage and really good in blitzing. And like those became the two things with where the game was going. I'm like, can I just do this at a high level, and this will keep me employed and allow me to stay around and provide value. All right, that's it. We got to take a break, Shags. We got our tailgate talk coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, we've got our tailgate talk now. We'll answer some of your questions from the chat, which is getting pretty frothy, and some infighting within the chat, Schlegs. Always entertaining. Let's keep it clean, and name calling is what my kids do. So articulate points. I always appreciate a good
I was trying
argument.
to find the good questions. Here,
There was a good one. There was one in here about, is Lorenzo more injured than we thought, from AZ Tinker?
Yeah, good question.
Gamer. I think Lorenzo is going to be fine. He's battled some shoulder stuff throughout his career.
Yep.
I think he had got nicked maybe 2 games ago. I think he'll be okay. The thing is, like, they've got enough guys. You don't want to rush guys back and risk, re-injury and making things worse. And so there's a development. There's a recovery time with some of this stuff. I know this. Sean Barnhouse and Adam Stewart, 2 of the best, trainers, PT combos around. They got a great crew back there with Tyler and Solo and everybody. They do a good job. So he'll be ready to go when he needs to be. But I don't know if he needs to be for Wisconsin either. Like that's that's the reality. Like, Ohio State might not play a ranked team now the rest of the year. So there's that. You threw a good one in here, Schlegs. Why are the Huskies, from Mark Swick, not Zwick, Mark Swick? Why are the Huskies not ranked? I don't know, Schlegs. You tell me why they're not ranked.
Well, I just think it's the fact of kind of what we're seeing in 5-1. Like, Notre Dame's 4-2. They're not going off of the losses anymore. I don't understand it, right? Like, I think they're not giving. Here's the deal. I don't think they give Ohio State and what they are enough credit for the defense. And then the very next week, Damon Williams absolutely goes off. I had the stat here, Bob, somewhere in here. Matter of fact, it's right here. Damon Williams went for,
he had like 500 yards.
He had 538 yards and 4 touchdowns.
And total offense, like 100 and some on the ground and like 380 through the air or something crazy.
So what I'm saying is when you look at this and you look at what Washington and everybody was talking about, and Coach Newhousen said, they're going to get an upset at home, 22-game streak, and then Ohio State comes in and really dominates that entire football game. And this guy previously, this offense was the number 1 ranked offense again. They didn't really play anybody the first couple of weeks, but still number 1 in the country. A lot of firepower, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, putting up great stats, go against Ohio State. Nothing. Then the following week, you put up 538 total yards and 4 touchdowns. So you can't discredit the competition. So they're 5-1. I kind of look at it why does this all make sense? None of it makes sense, because you also have a Cincinnati sitting at 24.
Yeah.
Lost to a Nebraska, like head-to-head matchup.
End of game, like at the very end of the game. It was a fine. If you watch the game, you're thinking those are 2 good teams. Nebraska actually made a play to beat them. So it was good.
And that's why, like, how can you rank them above Nebraska, right? At that point when it's head-to-head. I mean, all those things come into play, but
there's a lot.
I don't sweat the small stuff.
Listen, in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a lot of teams play each other and a lot more things. In 2 to 3 weeks, come 9, 10, 8 to 9 games in, I think a lot of this will start to come into picture even more. So just stay tuned and watch. Bucks are sitting in a good spot. Hoosiers are sitting in a good spot. And Penn State, maybe not so much. All right, we got to wrap up the show here with some side nuggets and parting thoughts from Anthony Schlegel.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. And Schlags, she's got some crazy news via text. I'll tell you here in a minute. But
Ooh, I like that. I like
it's
that.
not good news. Not good
Oh,
news.
that's terrible. Then I don't like that. Don't
like
tell
it.
me in a minute.
Don't like it. Yeah. So hit us with your side nuggets and your parting thoughts.
All right, so hey, real quick side nugget. I did like this one from Mr. Ohio, and I'm gonna read this. But if Ohio State beat a 3-3 team, 20-10, the headline would read Ohio struggles against South Carolina or whomever it was, and that's true as opposed to makes easy work. That's ridiculous. But anyways, go back to my Doomajig that's on there, Pat. Go back to it, buddy. And I try to get my mouse. You guys, I got this set up over here, but I still don't know how to control my mouse, much like Richard. Okay, so hey, this is Bill Walsh. If you're growing a garden, you need to pull out the weeds, but flowers will die if all you do is pick weeds. They need sunshine and water. People are the same. Oh, side nugget, guys, in the chat, we want good stuff, but it's the same thing when you're dealing with teams, when you're building teams. You can't give all your time, energy, effort to the bottom 10. You got to give it to that middle 80, and you still got to flourish the top 80 because the ultimate goal is to make the top 10 have about 30, 40 dudes in it. That's the special sauce of a team that can win a national championship. We've seen it at Ohio State when they won in 14. We saw it when they won in 24. You get a lot of high character dudes that play elite levels of football. And when you got about 30 of those dudes doing that, special things happen. And that's exactly what Ryan Day is doing right now at Ohio State. Can't wait to watch my practice today, too.
Buckeye Schlags. See you over there. Bloody Tuesday. Stay locked in. We got AJ tomorrow here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.